Welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast. Today, we're getting into Pony AI. We've got a bunch of info you sent over, and we want to pull out what really matters and what it might mean for you.
That's right. We have articles on their latest moves, market reactions, where they sit in the industry, plus a due diligence report that goes deeper into the numbers and competition.
Our goal here is to cut through it all, highlight the key stuff about Pony AI, especially with that big partnership news and their financials coming up soon.
Okay, so where should we begin? Those recent developments seem pretty significant.
Let's start there. The big one seems to be that strategic partnership announced May 6th between Pony AI and Uber Technologies.
Right, the plan to get Pony AI's robo-taxis onto the Uber app, starting in the Middle East later this year, and then possibly a wider expansion.
And this feels like more than just adding cars. It seems like a strategic play, maybe to handle regulations better, tap into Uber's existing users.
Instead of building all that user infrastructure from scratch, it's smart.
And it really signals maybe an acceleration in getting this autonomous tech adopted.
Well, leveraging a huge global platform like Uber's could definitely speed things up. Faster consumer exposure, potentially faster acceptance.
Good point. And then there's the financials. First quarter 2025 results are due May 20th.
Yep, following up on their Q4 and full year 2024 numbers. So May 20th is a key date to watch.
It really is. We'll get a better sense of whether these big strategic moves are actually hitting the bottom line.
Partnerships are great, but seeing the revenue impact, the profitability path, that's what investors will look for.
And we shouldn't forget, they're apparently the first to offer paid robo-taxi rides connecting Guangzhou's city center with transport hubs.
That's not just a test run. That's a live paying service in a major city.
That seems like a big deal. Getting that real-world data, getting people used to it in such a busy place could be a real advantage.
It could. Being first in a place like Guangzhou, you wonder how much that early operational learning curve matters as things scale up elsewhere. Is that a lasting edge?
Interesting question. Okay, let's pivot to how the market's reacting. The stock price saw a pretty big jump recently.
It did, nearly 19% recently, and up about 47% overall as profitability gets closer. That's quite a move upwards.
And you have to think there's a direct line from these partnerships to that positive market reaction.
It seems investors are reading these deals as a strong sign, validating their strategy and growth potential.
We're also seeing higher trading volume, positive analyst comments, mentioning partnerships like the one with Tencent Cloud, too.
So it's not just a small group getting excited. That suggests growing confidence across the board.
Could be a self-reinforcing cycle, maybe. More confidence attracts more investment, which funds more growth.
Potentially. It feels like the market is looking beyond just can the tech work to how will it actually roll out commercially.
And Pony AI's approach, focusing on these partnerships, seems to fit that narrative well.
Sentiment seems really focused on these kinds of innovative link-ups and just the sheer future growth story. Autonomous vehicles are definitely a growth narrative.
It feels like the story is shifting, less about the lab work, more about practical paths to market. These alliances offer that clarity.
Maybe we should step back for a second. Who is Pony AI, fundamentally?
Good idea. Founded in Silicon Valley, 2016, now seen as leading global autonomous driving tech company.
That Silicon Valley origin definitely points to that early tech focus, attracting talent, aiming big from the start.
And their focus is broad commercializing autonomy across robo-taxis, robo-trucks, and even personally owned vehicles.
That's interesting, that three-pronged approach, not putting all their eggs in one basket.
Spreading the risk, tapping different market segments.
And it's all powered by their core tech, the virtual driver system, aiming for safety, reliability.
That's the heart of it, the software and AI making the driving decisions.
Which brings up the question of differentiation, doesn't it? What makes their virtual driver stand out? Do we know anything specific about their sensors, algorithms, safety approach compared to, say, Waymo or Cruise?
The sources don't go that deep on the tech specifics, but it's a critical point. Okay, let's look at the financials, or what we know leading up to the May 20th report.
Well, Q1 numbers are pending, but previous data showed revenue over $75 million. Leverage ratio was 1.1 back in April. Assets over $1 billion. Liabilities around $82 million.
So even before these latest deals fully show up, $75 million in revenue suggests they already had something substantial going on.
Definitely. And the due diligence report mentioned the whole sector is projected to grow fast, something like 30% CAGR.
If they can capture a good slice of that growing pie, the revenue potential is huge.
And that growth potential is probably why investors are interested, even with all the risks in new tech.
Absolutely. So that upcoming earnings call on the 20th is vital. People will be listening very closely.
For sure, revenue, EPS, margins, but also that clear path to profit. They need to articulate that.
So if you're listening in, what should you focus on beyond just the headline numbers?
Good question. Maybe things like the growth rate in Guangzhou, progress on the trucking side, metrics that show the underlying business health, not just the top line.
Makes sense. Let's talk strengths and risks. Strengths seem clear.
Okay.
The tech itself, lots of road testing data.
Which is incredibly valuable in this space.
Right. And these big strategic deals, like Uber. Plus, they've been good at raising capital.
Those are all strong points, positioning them well.
But there are definitely risks. The stock took a dip in April, about 8%. Mind you, it's volatile.
And the competition is fierce. Waymo, Cruise, these are giants with deep pockets.
Plus, the R&D costs are just massive in this sector. That constantly eats into profits or delays them.
True. And then there are the regulatory hurdles, different rules in different places.
And relying on specialized hardware suppliers. Supply chain risks are real.
Managing those regulations and securing parts will be just as important as the tech itself. It's a complex puzzle.
So where do they stand competitively, looking ahead?
They seem positioned as a leader in getting Level 4 autonomy commercialized, competing with the big names we mentioned, Waymo, Cruise, Aurora, Too Simple.
And that dual focus, passenger and freight, is a key differentiator, you think?
I do. It gives them more shots on goal, potentially hedges bets across different market needs.
And that Uber deal keeps coming up as a major catalyst for growth.
Integrating into that network could really be a game changer for them, a real inflection point.
Makes you wonder, could that Uber partnership expand beyond robotaxis, maybe into trucking or personal vehicles down the line?
It's possible. The potential for deeper integration across transport modes is definitely something to think about.
And of course, we always need to keep an eye on the regulators and just the general market mood for tech stocks.
Those external factors can have a huge impact, regardless of how well the company itself is doing.
Okay, so wrapping things up, Pony AI is making some serious moves, the Uber deal being a standout. The market seems encouraged for now.
And that May 20th financial report will give us a much clearer snapshot of their actual progress. Vital data incoming.
The whole autonomous vehicle space is just fascinating. Huge potential, but real hurdles too.
And Pony AI's approach, hitting taxis, trucks, personal vehicles, might be a smart way to navigate it all.
Which really brings it back to you, the listener. How do these developments, this strategy, fit with your own thinking about the future of transport?
Yeah.
And your investment approach?
It's a lot to consider. We definitely encourage you to subscribe. Maybe like this discussion if you found it useful.
And please leave a comment. What are your thoughts? What other questions does this raise for you? There's always more to dig into.